So welcome to everybody that's joining us. I'm Donna from Riverside Beads, and today we are on one of my hot favourite topics of Kumihimo. So Kumihimo is done on a little round disc like this, and today we're going to be doing beaded. So if you missed the kind of basic things that we did last week, I covered how to do braided, so with a cord, any number of sort of satiny cords, or you can throw different things, and I did an 8 warp one, which is this one here. And today I'm going to progress on from that and do an 8 braid, but with the beads coming into it as well. So do shout out with any questions that you've got if you're watching this live, and I will try and get to answer them. And yeah, hopefully I don't pick your messages up quite quickly. They are disappearing. So yes, I will do my best to keep on top of all of those. So it is a rather warm day today, isn't it, Lisa? Yeah, it's really warm here. The good thing, I suppose, is it keeps very cool here in Riverside HQ until it gets super, you know, it's got to be really hot for a number of days to really warm the bricks up. But it can keep, I've actually, you'll see, you looked when I sort of was live there, I've got my jacket on. It's only a loose fleece, but yeah, it's almost, I could borderline say cold here. So today we're going to look at Beaded Kumihimo. Oh, Natalie, you've made the Jenny bracelet from the book. Hi, Eva, good to see you. Don't worry, we were just having a bit of a chat and I'm just getting started with it all now. So I want to talk to you a little bit about Beaded Kumihimo and your variations. So let's talk about Kumihimo and the options available. So one of the first things, in these 2 weeks, I've covered 8 braid. So one of the variations is the number of cords you can use. That's one of the first things that you can do. So you can change. This is an 8 braid. I'll just go back to a corded version. This was a 4 braid that I did for a previous demo. So the braid structure is different. The way you move the cords about becomes different. But going back to the 8 braid, it's the same technique as I showed you last week for the corded one. So that's the first thing. The colour of your cord, it does matter as such. You can tone it, but you'll see I use an awful lot of these neutrally peachy greys, that sort of colour. They just then blend with most of your colours. So I've gone, this is the peachy one that we've got in this month's, I can't remember what they call this one officially, but we have a selection. I will try and add a link in here for you for our cords from our new website. So if you want to look that up, but it's Eslon. So if you go onto our website and you can filter down the side there, and you can look up or there's a section for cords. So if I add that link to Eslon in here for you. So we've got 10 colours in there at the minute. If I'm honest with everything with this, we have a huge amount more. I keep saying this, but we're trying to get some on. So there we go. There's a link to the Eslon for you. Oh, are we going to Peterborough in October? Oh, Natalie, I just have no idea what's happening, in all honesty. So if I assume you thinking the Create and Craft show, ultimately, yes, I would probably like to. Sorry, you can see all my hand and everything doing all my mouth, but yeah, I would like to. Let's see what happens. Hey, we're just seeing what's going on at the moment with everything, aren't we? So let's look at our options with this then. We've got so far we've talked about how you can change the colour of your cord, which might not massively matter on your beaded one, depending whether you see it through the project a little bit or not. And if you did, you would tone it in. With the one particularly that's there that I'm showing you on the link I've just shared, it's like a grey one. That's always a good neutral one if you're only buying one with your stash. So that's one of the things, the number of cords. This is an 8 warp beaded one. So that's a couple of the things you can change. Then we're going to talk about patterns. Okay, so let me explain. The funny thing is, okay, I'll come back to that one in a moment. This one and this one look similar. So these are just 2 beaded Kumihimo projects. So one of them's a 2-stripe, one of them is a 4-stripe. Now, these are very different projects to tackle. If you're a beginner, I would look at doing this one first. So one that's just a 2-stripe regular pattern. So that would be how we're doing the one today from the bead box. Now this one is then a 4-stripe one. So just talk a little bit about the difference with these. These ones, I'll almost describe them as more forgiving. So if it's a, you know, one like this, if you miss a bead, yes, you do see that you've missed one, but it doesn't change the pattern. The pattern, you sort of get familiar with this as you go further along with your braiding. So the pattern will stay the same. That 2-colour stripe will stay the same. You'll just have a bead missing along the way. You can actually sew them back in after, or you can pick it back and do that. But if you go for something like this one, which in principle might just look like the same sort of beaded one, this is called a pattern-based one. And going back to Helen's comment about the rainbow one, the rainbow one is a pattern-based one. And what this means is when we load the beads on here, we don't load all one colour and type on one strand, we mix them up. So to get this rainbow effect one, where you've got the 6 colours of the rainbow, that was the best one we could get for the pattern to make it not quite straightforward, or the most straightforward version we could do of it. So to get this effect, it's about loading particular beads on particular strands. So in my book, I talk about, so someone said about doing the Jenny project. Perfect, that's the one it's come open on. And in the Jenny project, we talk about, so that's this one here, we talk about how to get these 4 stripes, and then you'll get a pattern. So reading beading patterns. So I've got a page in here that will talk to you about how to read our beading patterns. And I tried to go, I've seen lots of different patterns in the past. I tried to go with the most simple version that I could do for reading a beading pattern. So that's if you're doing a pattern-based one. So something like your rainbow is reliant on you being accurate beader. So my advice would be you tackle something, the project in the current bead box is a beginner's one for sure. You would definitely want to have tried this. Sort of like the first stage would be the braided one, like I did last week. Then you would be able to go on to this. If you miss a bead, all you're doing is missing one out. So you'll just have a gap, and we can always sew that in just with a regular thread afterwards. Not ideal, but it does the job. You can sort of just sew it in like you would bead weaving, and it'll just add it back in as such temporarily. So you did it right back here and you'd got all the way here before you noticed. That's certainly a solution. But when you go on to these type and this project here, which you can see the gorgeous little daisies running through, these are pattern-based projects. So it's finding a way to read the pattern, but also you have to be 100% accurate. If you miss that one there, it doesn't just remove it like it does on the one I'm going to show you today. It changes the whole pattern. So it then affects the way the daisy flower comes out all the way around. It affects all these different ones and it throws it. So then you won't have that gorgeous daisy effect through your braid. So these are the 2 types. I'm not doing pattern-based ones today. I tend to do them more in classes or kits that we do, but I'm going to show you the basic principles. If you haven't got my book, obviously I would love you to grab yourselves a copy so you can, you know, work through some of these patterns. All of those, not the rainbow one, actually, sorry, that isn't in there, but the other 2 are in my book, A Beginner's Guide to Kumihimo, and there's 12 projects to work you through different designs. Some of them are like I'm going to show you today, but maybe longer projects, and others are pattern-based ones. Okay, have we got any queries I've missed so far? Oh, Natalie, you're going to Crafting Live. Yeah, I in my head, I look forward to going. I would love it to happen. I would love to go, but I guess I'm just not committing to anything. We're just sort of taking each day as it comes really in the shop at the moment. I'd love to get my classes back up and running, but it's all steady away at the moment, trying to get things going again. So I'll thank you, all of you who have got my book. You are absolute stars. I really appreciate it. But I do, you know, I really did put my heart and soul into that book to give you hopefully everything you're going to need to be able to learn this Kumihimo. Okay, so I have had a few Wi-Fi problems at work today. I'll probably, yeah, just hoping it behaves for me. So far so good. If I lose you, I'll have to reconnect back on. Okay, so let's, Trisha, I'll go right back to the beginning of this. So what you do is you would cut your cord around 4 times the length you wanted the finished bracelet to be. So you measure your wrist, but obviously with a bracelet, you might want it to be, this is quite a small one actually. Did I do this for me or did it just run out of beads? It's actually smaller perhaps than I would, no, that probably was for me. Yeah, just, you don't want the beads joining right up to the sides, because then when you add the clasp on, it adds more. But just to go back to the braidy part of it, it's to get the beads and have the cord to do your end bits and everything. So you measure the length you want your finished braid to be. So you say, right, this is a 7-inch bracelet, and you times that by 4 to give you the amount you need. Now, I'm always a bit cautious, and I think I decided in the book to put add yourself 20 centimeters on. So in principle, go with 4 times the length of your finished braid for a bracelet. But if I just say to you, doing 4 1 meter lengths would be absolutely sufficient for a beaded Kumihimo project for a bracelet as a general rule, unless you're doing something fancy like your button and loop fastening, because then you need a bit more cord perhaps just to make all your loops and everything. Oh, thank you guys, so supportive. It basically is in the pipeline, but we need to kind of park that thought on a new book, because it takes years. It could well still be like 2-3 years away till it goes ahead. But yeah, we'll keep doing our patterns. I just like the books because they put everything in one place for you. It's, you know, for one price you can buy the books, then you can come and just get bits and bobs from us, or we produce the kits as you need them. Okie dokie. So this is the one we're going to look at today, which is a non-pattern based one. So what I was saying about the patterns is where you'd load, instead of just this one, for example, would have all hematite on one, you would add a hematite, a pink one, a grey one, you know, you would add them in a certain way. And then just to confuse matters, it's not the same on each one. Sometimes it'll be, well, it will be, to do a pattern based one, it'll be different on each strand as a general rule. So that is where you need to be 100% accurate. If your pattern goes wrong, it's because you've missed a bead. But today, bit of pressure off. This is, I've done some braiding and I'm ready to do beading, is what we're focusing on today. So 4 times the length, but 4 1 meter lengths for a bracelet would be fabulous. The other key to this is absolutely preparing your ends here. So this is Eslon, 0.5 Eslon. And if I just touch that, I think I showed you this last week as well, touch the end of that cord there, that's like a little needle, and that was the preparation of the cord in advance. So I've cut this at an angle so it makes like a little point, and then I've nail varnished it. So I've gone, I tend to do it in a plastic bag or something like this, so you, or scrap paper. The plastic's quite good because it sort of absorbs in, and then nail varnish all over all the sides, and that makes that little needle effect. Somebody asked about bobbins earlier. These are bobbins, and I think they said they had a weighted one. Absolutely fine. Just heavy, actually. I find if I use the weighted one and I don't need that extra weight, it's just that extra weight to work with. But the bobbins, yeah, very useful for beaded projects. Those of you that are Bead Box members, I really plan to send you out an offer as soon as possible. So if you haven't got bobbins and blue, you can do a little top up with those. So bear with me, hoping to have a paperwork day tomorrow. So I've wound that around there, but can I just show you what I've done? I've left that bit sticking out, okay? So that bit is a good inch and a half sticking out of the end, and that is the nail varnished bit. So clip that in place like so. So that's sticking out. So that just gives you a bit of weight on your cord, which is useful if you are, if you need to weight them down a little bit because your discs may be a little bit expanded as you've been working on it. So ideally you want to keep a separate disc for your beaded ones, but if it's just a little bit gone and a little bit wider, the weighted bobbins can help keep this pointer braiding in the center. So oh, new member, yes, Diane, hi, it's been lovely. We've been talking a bit, or you've been talking with the team here. Oh, I'm glad you've got the book as well. So yeah, you're new to the group, but you're kind of not new to Riverside. So yeah, we've got the page here, we've got the group where you can pop by and share ideas, and I try and share bits in as well, but we tend to do the lives on here. And then for any Bead Box members, which I know you are, Diane, we've got the private group as well, so for members only. Yeah, Helen, you threaded it with a needle. Absolutely okay if you can get it through. So of course the thing about threading with a needle is it doubles it up, so you're having to get 2 bits of it through. Having said that, seed beads, all these tiny little ones here, you wouldn't believe how big a hole in a seed bead is versus holes in some of even the crystals. In fact, that's a great example. That seed bead in that small one is probably a bigger hole than that crystal. So yeah, you may be able to use a needle if that helps. I just kind of, yeah, I do it with this. I've done in the past a lot of this on traveling, so particularly on aeroplanes and things, and you couldn't take a needle, whereas if you prep your cord like this, it preps them out to be mini needles, so you don't have to have, yeah, very fine beading needles and the right sizes. It's certainly an option, certainly if you're doing it at home. We're not going on planes, are we, at the moment? So that's, yeah, that is an option to do that. And we also do like a big eye needle, so it opens up in the middle and you can get it over your cord and things. So some people swear by threading with a needle. So what I've done here is I've prepared my cord, added them all onto bobbins, and I'm just down to the last couple of beads on here. I just wanted to show you a few repetitions around on this. I've added the beads on. Now your two options are, you have them on the top of the disc like that, so you have your beads, and I do personally, when I'm at home, I work like that, but I am very aware that can be a very confusing method for people, and you kind of, you don't know which beads should be where, particularly when you're learning. So if you use bobbins and drop those beads down onto the bobbins, then as you do your move, you just bring a bead up. So I'll just take that one, I'll reverse that one, so I'm back to there, so I know I'm on this one. So what I've done on this one, I've got one, let me make sure I'm in shot a minute, let me just freeze that to make sure I'm in shot. Takes a moment for me to catch up with what you can see. Got it? Hold on. It's like a delay, I can never quite watch myself back. No, it's still not caught up. Oh, we're getting there. I'm reversing it on my shot of it. I never know what you guys can see as well, at which stage. Okay, that looks pretty clear and in picture for me. Good. Okay, let me know if I go out of shot. A little bit more that way, perhaps. Okay. Hopefully we've got everything you need in there. So this is really important as to where the bead goes. So in principle, just as a reminder, you're taking your right to your right and your left to your left, keeping them on the same side, top down, bottom up. Have some sort of mantra so you get used to that principle of it. So I'm going right to right, but as I'm bringing that down, I'm bringing a bead in. Now I've already dropped one in there, so that's ready to go. But, and like I said, I sit with them on the top of the disc. So as I'm going down there, put my overview on so I can see myself. Okay, so as I'm going, where I'm going with that is down here, but I need that bead to tuck under that cord it's going to cross. So under there, and like so. Let me see if I can get it to focus for you. Clear? There we go, got it. Okay, so that has gone under that cord that it went over. So the cord went over there. Now I'm going to move this bottom left one up to the top left. Okay, so remembering, so I'm not moving the bead, I'm popping a cord in. I'll tip it there and in. Now that one's not going to behave for me. That's going to try and come out. But just these crystals are a little bit bigger. So, but pop that there. So that goes on there and one there. And that is now, if I give that a little push there, you might be able to see them better. Hopefully. They are tucked under the cords that they're crossing. Quarter turn it, and I'm now on this one. I just need to cover it back down. I'll just get that back in focus. Okay, so we carry on with that pattern. So top right goes down, but remembering a bead every time. Now, like I say, if you miss one for this particular 8 braid beading, it will just leave a gap. So that's actually okay. Just leaves a gap. But when we start doing those pattern-based ones, then it affects the whole pattern. So each cord that I'm doing, I'm popping a bead under. One bead under, in place. Left one up, bead under, in place. Quarter turn it anti-clockwise and go again. One bead under and put that in place. So then we have got that nice structure coming on here. So we've got a real methodical, it's called pointer braiding here. So we've got that pointer braiding nice and neat. It opens up nicely when you get a little bit further along the braid. This was a brand new braid, so it hadn't opened up as much. And now every time we cross a cord over, we've got that real defined place that we can tuck that bead under. So this will, I don't know if I've got enough to even show you there underneath. So that will make you this gorgeous one, which is out of Riverside Bead Box 8, which is using these lovely hematites, which I have actually managed to get online as well. So I've got the 4mm and the 6mm, which we've used in the box, if you need any extras of those. And both of the seed beads are on there as well. So size 8 and size 6 ones. And they all work on that S-lum. So look absolutely stunning. They're beautiful, the little hematite. They're not really a crystal, they're a hematite, but they're faceted hematite. They look like, oh, they're just stunning. And they give it a real beautiful effect. But if you're brand new to it and you're not a bead box member, you can obviously grab the bead box as a one-off, or you could have a go with just some general seed beads, which could give you this sort of look. So that's 2 sizes of seed beads, exactly the same principle that I've been showing you, but you would put like the size 6, for example, would go on north and south on the 2 either side, and the 8s would go on east and west. That one is all size 8s. So to get that stripe, you follow that principle of how to lay your cord out that I covered last week. So where you go north and south has one colour, east and west has another, and it works with size or colour there. Even, let's have a look at this gorgeous one that Heidi designed many years ago. This is like a double one with a bit of a button and loop, but a bit different. So this is absolutely gorgeous. We do these popper fastenings, and then these little charms go onto there, and that goes around there, which is super cute. But this is just all one colour. So these are an AB. Oh, it might not be actually, in looking closely. No, I think they are. They're just a kind of petrol-y looking blue. So you get that different colours going through, but it's a double strand one. But all of these are all beaded, regular beaded Kumihimo. So all of these are ones I would definitely tackle. And then you can go inside out, which is this effect here. This is one of the projects out of my book as well. So I cover inside out and button and loop fastening in that project. So you're getting all those different techniques that you need to learn all your different skill sets. And then you've got all your pattern-based ones as well that we were talking about. So these, tackle one of these, get yourself some S-lon, a couple of colours of your seed beads, and you'll be good to go with these projects. If you haven't got the book, do obviously feel free to grab a copy of my book. And then it's, we sell it, I think it's, I should remember this price now, shouldn't I? It's $8.99, but if you're brand new to Kumihimo, we do little starter kits. But if you're just needing some patterns, it covers all 12 of these patterns here. Yes, Sue was just asking if I've got bobbins on each of the 8 threads. Yes, can you see them there? So this is only a bracelet, and in reality, do I need them on there? But if you want to drop your beads down out the way, then it's useful to have the bobbins, because it just saves, well, you can tie knots in the end, but then you've got them all tangling down. What I do, I was just saying, is I actually sit with all my beads on the top here. So I have all my beads just on here, and I just load maybe 10 at a time or something. But if I feel like preloading, yes, put your bobbins on and drop them down, and then I'll just bring one in as I need it. Like that. Put your cord in place, and then this one, drop it in. That's back to the crystal. So we're back to the original one that we did, and popping that in place. So hopefully that is everything that you need. The infinity necklace pattern is in the book, Helen. Yeah, I haven't got a sample of that one, but I do rather love that one. Let me show you in the book. Bear with me. So on our new website, we've got lots of education for you as well. So if you go onto our website, I can see that we've just added in a link to General Kumihimo, but I will just share another link in for you in a moment. There's the infinity one. So yes, this one is a project in the book as well. But bizarrely, albeit it's longer, and I'd definitely say that adds more challenges, the actual principle of the project, although I'm going to confuse you even more now, It's a pattern, but it's not pattern based that if you go wrong as such, you notice it as much, because it does change the pattern, but it's not as obvious on this one. So yeah, yeah, so that one's in there as well. So hopefully that's given you everything you need. What I'm just going to do, because on our new website, in fact, I love Zoom that I'm using now. I'm going to go on to the screen share again, and I'll show you the website quickly.